Okay, we're gonna do our part 2 for our School of Fish sketchbook. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start adding color. And to do that, we want to let at least 2 colors blend together. Now you can use the watercolors that you've been using. You can use things that you're familiar with, but we're gonna start using some temper cakes. And for the temper cakes, they're very similar to watercolor, but they are a little bit more opaque. So, I mean, if you still use them sparingly with your brush, you're not going to have them cover a lot of space. But if you put them on thick, they become very opaque. So what I am currently doing is I'm just taking some of my water and I am dotting it so that I get a little puddle on my fish. And then I'm going to get some color. So maybe I want to, these are the temper cakes. So if something is dirty, you can always wipe it off with a wet paper towel. I'm going to use from this little space here. I'm going to use some yellow, and I'm just going to touch the water because we're going to combine at least 2 colors on each fish. So I'm taking the yellow and I'm putting it on here and letting it mix with that water. And then I am going to wash off my brush and I'm gonna get some of the magenta from over here. There's a couple different palettes. There's one that has a little more bright tones, so like neon-ish. And then there's one that has the more traditional tones. So I'm going to go in and I'm just going to touch and let that magenta blend with the yellow. And where I'm touching, it's just making little dots, and that kind of makes it look more scaly. Maybe I want to blend a little bit around the face, just a little. And I'm gonna leave the yellow just on the fin so it looks more interesting. You can do similar things to the little bubbles. So you just put a dot. And then maybe I'll put a little blue. I did spray a little bit of water onto my palette. Oh, see what happens when you do wet on wet, it starts to travel, and it's okay if it gets on your fish. It's not going to be a big deal, but you do kind of want to just touch the water to give you a little coloration. I'm going to get a little of this teal color. I did not wash off my brush first. I should have. You can also take a paper towel and you can lift it or blot it like we did with our watercolor before. And all you need to do is just kind of, now, do I recommend these kind of paper towels? Not in the least, because they do not absorb very well, but they will absorb a little bit. And they will help to pull some of that extra moisture off if you get too much on there. Honestly, the toilet paper does better. It will blot some of it off. Okay, that's good. I like that. And I don't mind this little bit of bluish tone by the fish's mouth. I'm gonna wash this off. So dab a little water on your fish. For this guy, I avoided touching the eye. These are real little, so I'm not gonna worry about it. Maybe I'm gonna use a little orange. And then I'm gonna pull off some of that moisture. And I want one more color. Maybe I'll do that same pink tone and see how it blends with the orange. It should be fairly similar, actually. Doing little like spots so that they look scaly. Yeah, I like it. You can also, instead of fully like dropping the water on there, you can add just a little wash of water, and then you can go in with like some different tones. I'm gonna do this sort of teal around the outside edge, and then maybe this one I put those dots on to make it sort of look like a rainbow trout. I don't know. I haven't actually looked at a rainbow trout for a while, so I'm going in with my version of a rainbow trout. So I'm putting a little green. I'm gonna put a little like a little bit of that magenta, put a little along the edge, maybe a little up there, just for my own version. Is it an actual rainbow trout? No, but that's okay because it's mine. And for you as well, I'm gonna put a little line of yellow between that green and the pink or magenta to kind of give it a little orangey warm tone there. I like it. Okay, so you're gonna go in, you're gonna touch with water, you're gonna go get a color and touch it and touch it. Maybe make sure you get at least 2 colors in each of your fish. If you want to do 2 colors in your bubbles, you can. If you want to blot them, you can blot them. If you don't want to blot them, you can just let that little bit of water sit on there and eventually it will dry. You do want to take care that like at the end of the class period that you have it dry enough that you can move it. So I'm putting this little wash of orange on there, and then I'm gonna try it with, let's put some yellow on top, and I'm gonna use the dirty yellow because it's got like a light orange kind of color to it. So dot that on there. I'm gonna blot that off because I don't know if I love that. Oh, I like that though. That makes an interesting pattern. So you can get the tray, the watercolor tray, because as I said, tempera cakes are very similar to watercolor, so they will also wash off very easily. So you can use the watercolor trays, even though it says watercolor only. This is like opaque watercolor, so just keep going and filling in. I think I'm gonna make this one a green tone, so I'm gonna take a little water, put this on here, maybe green and yellow. There's a light green, maybe put a little dark green at the bottom, maybe take a little blue. Said I was gonna add yellow. Let me get in here. And kind of dot it. I like that texture. What color do I want over this guy? Maybe a violet. Get a little water to wash. Put a little maybe I'll go with this one, this like red violet. It's not quite magenta, but it's not quite violet either. Take a little magenta in there too, why not? Fun. Okay, so and you just keep working your way down. Just and get your bubbles as you go. Just keep working. Fill it up.